Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. This is sitting Vikings as now 7.5-point favorites at the Chicago Bears. 43.5 is your total. Of course, this moved on the news that Justin Fields is not going to play for the Chicago Bears this week. That is the smart decision by this organization. I know people are saying, but the record, the future of your franchise is much more important than a singular rushing record for the quarterback. And oh, by the way, he could get it next year or the year after that, whatever. It's like, I mean, this is your franchise future in a meaningless game. Don't trot a guy out there that's not needed. Now, Adam, of course, this is a game the Vikings are, again, in theory, need to go out and play hard and win because there are backdoor scenarios to all different kinds of seeding things in the NFC. So there is that at play here for the Vikings, who find themselves as more than a touchdown favorite now against the Bears.
I'm going to lay off this. There's way too much at question here for both of these teams. And look, I know we've seen Minnesota play much better than they did last week. But that's now twice that we've watched Minnesota go out there and be absolutely destroyed by a superior opponent. And so, I understand that is not the Chicago Bears in any way, shape, or form, but there's too much at play here. I mean, I'm sure some people will probably want to tease this down into the range below a field goal and say, how could Minnesota lose to Chicago? I don't know, but at the same time, I don't want to put my money in the way of it.
So we're going to get Nathan Peterman here, Stephen, and look, he's got experience. He's got experience at least. We're not trotting out whatever, a rookie that has never taken a snap before. So there's at least that. Where I'm going with this is this: the total's sitting at 43, right?
Okay.
The Bears defense is at least it's in the same breath with the Falcons as the worst defense in the NFL. No question, right? But the Vikings defense is not that great, right? And certainly in a garbage time scenario, if that were to play out, we know they already play these like soft zone looks. They're going to get the softest zone look. These Bears are going to get the softest zone looks you've ever seen in the whole world. I kind of think 43 is too low in this game, even with Peterman at quarterback, because the Vikings are going to score a lot of points against the Bears. I would imagine into the mid-20s, if not into the low 30s, because, again, this offense has been good against bad defenses, and then they just don't show up against the good defense, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, they're going to put up points. Can the Bears not muster us 14, 17-ish points in this game? Because if that's the case, I think the over is the look here, because that Vikings defense is probably going to give up some garbage time yards and probably some garbage time scores.
So let's think about the scenario here with the seeding for a second, because the Vikings play early, the Niners play late. The Vikings theoretically could still be playing for the 2 seed, but do they want the 2 seed?
Right.
Because the 2 seed going to have to play the Packers or the Seahawks or the Lions, and the 3 seed's going to get to play the Giants, who we all admit have been a great story and overachieved, but don't have the talent of the Lions or the Packers. So I'm not convinced the Vikings actually want to win this game. And I suppose they're going to trot their starters out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if the starters don't play the entire game. But with that being said, exactly what Adam noted. Way too much uncertainty here for me in this one. Nathan Peterman, and you want to bet the over, by all means, you go right ahead. I'm good. I can't disagree with your handicap other than Nathan Peterman.
That said, though, I mean, I know you want to talk about opponents. I mean, 2 seed gets you 2 home games. Like you want the 2 seed for sure.
And you're going to take this as Giants homerism, I'm sure, but just a couple of weeks ago, the New York Giants put up 6.7 yards per play against Minnesota and lost on a last-second field goal. I don't know that that's necessarily an indictment of the Giants to the point where Minnesota would make a decision based on which opponent they get.
Yeah, I think for sure
that's fair, but I also think they don't have much to play for this week other than 2 or 3 seed. They're going to have to play next week no matter what. So I think the bigger risk here is letting some of your key starters possibly get hurt in a Week 18 game. I'll say that point at least.
Yeah, there is that, and then there's also the do they after he had one catch, do they want to go out and get Justin Jefferson, the 193 yards he needs to break the all-time receiving record. So again, there's all kinds of
10-1 on that. By the way, I know you're big on some of these contract and milestone stuff, Matt. You can get 10-1 that he breaks the record.
Yeah, I mean, getting 200 yards in a game's hard, even against the worst defense in the NFL, but I think they're going to try at least in the first half. I don't know. I doubt he gets there in the first half. They're going to try at least in the first half anyway.